Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 4. We're on page 281, and we're going to be multiplying fractions with mixed numbers. So scan the lessons, 2 headings. So what's this lesson going to be about? Well, the title is Multiply Mixed Numbers. So we're going to multiply fractions and a mixed number. And just a reminder, a mixed number is a number that has a whole number tied to a fraction, like 2 1/2. That would be considered a mixed number. And we're also going to be multiplying mixed numbers together. So we have the real world link. The eyeball of an Atlantic giant squid is about 12 times as large as a human eyeball. The average human eyeball is 1 1/4 inches across. Use a bar diagram to compare the average size of a human eyeball to the average size of an Atlantic giant squid. So the squid eyeball is this whole thing, and then we have 12 times the amount, so we need to make 12 boxes. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. I know they're not. So we have 12 boxes. Use the diagram above to compare the average size of an Atlantic giant squid's eyeball to average size of a human eyeball. Use repeated addition. So I can do 1 1/4. We can add that together 12 times. Or we can do it using multiplication as 12 times 1 1/4. So the 1 1/4, I'm going to do some math over here. So 1 1/4, we have to change that to an improper fraction in order to multiply. So in order to do this, we multiply the whole number with the denominator, and then we add the numerator. So we start with the denominator first. 4 times 1 equals 4. And then we're going to add the numerator plus 1 equals 5. And the denominator remains the same. So 1 1/4 is the same as 5/4. Denominator stayed the same. So the 5 goes there, denominator stays the same. So now in order to multiply this, we're going to take 12/1 times 5/4. Now if we do cross division, I notice I do have compatible numbers with 12 and 4. 5 and 1 don't have any compatible numbers. So I can divide each of these by 4. So I can rewrite this as 12 divided by 4 equals 3 times 5. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I get my final answer of 15/1, which equals 15. So 12/1 times 5/4 is going to equal 15 inches. The other method was to do 12 times 5 equals 60, 1 times 4 is 4, and then 60 divided by 4. But you really should start practicing the simplifying before multiplying. It says multiply a fraction and a mixed number. To multiply a fraction and a mixed number, first write the mixed number as an improper fraction. Remember that when mixed numbers are written as improper fractions, the denominator does not change, and then multiply as with fractions. So we have 1/3 times 1 3/4. So like before, multiply the denominator together and then add the numerator. So we have 1 times 4 equals 4, plus 3 equals 7. So our improper fraction is now going to be 7 as our numerator. I'm going to need some space. 7 as our numerator. And our denominator stays the same, so it's still going to be 4. 1 times 7 equals 7. 3 times 4 equals 12. So we get a final answer of 7 over 12. Number 2, find 5.5 times 1/3. So we have 5, I'm going to make that a little bigger. 5 1/2 times 1/3. So like before, multiply the whole number with the denominator. So 2 times 5 equals 10, plus 1 equals 11. So we have 11 over 2 times 1/3. So 11 is my new numerator, and my denominator stays the same. 1 times 11 equals 11. 2 times 3 equals 6. So now that we have our answers in improper fraction, now we need to change the improper fraction back into a mixed number. So remember, fractions are just division problems. So 11 over 6 is the same as 11 divided by 6. 6 goes in 1 0 times, 6 goes in 11 once. 1 times 6, 6, subtract 5. So you get 1, remainder 5. And just remember, 1 is our whole number, 5 is our numerator, and 6 is our denominator. So our whole number, 1. Our remainder, 5, is our numerator. And our denominator is our divisor. So our denominator actually stays the same from the previous. Denominator stays the same. So we're gonna do this from the book's perspective. It says estimate to 5.5 is close to 6 times 1/3. It's gonna equal 2. So 5.5 times 1/3, that's gonna be 11 over 2 times 1/3. So 11 times 1, 2 times 3. It's gonna be 11 over 6, or 1 and 5, 6. So go ahead and pause the video and try to do A and B. Okay, so here are my answers. For A, we have 1 2/3. For B, we have 1 1/4. I did use the cross division method, so if you look at my work, I have 2/3 times 5 over 2. My 2's have compatible numbers, so both my 2's changed into 1's. And I got 5 over 2, that's the same as 2 1/2. For B, we have 3 1/3, so I did 3 times 3 equals 9, plus 1 equals 10. So 3 1/3 is the same as 10 over 3. So my original problem was 3 over 8 times 10 over 3, and I had compatible numbers all around. So my 3's are both compatible, so my 3's simplified to 1's. My 8 and 10, the compatible number I had was 2. So divided both of them by 2. So that changed into 8 turned into a 4, 10 turned into a 5. So I have 1/4 times 5 over 1, which equals 5/4. And that equals 1 1/4. So multiplying mixed numbers. To multiply two mixed numbers, write each number as an improper fraction. Use the greatest common factor, or GCF, to simplify. So example 3, it says find 1 7/8 times 3 1/3. Then write in simplest form. So we're actually going to do our work over here. 1 7/8. So that's 8 times 1 equals 8, plus 7 equals 15. So this is going to be 15 over 8. And then we have 3. We also have 3 1/3. So 3 times 3 equals 9, plus 1 equals 10. So that's going to be 10 over 3. So 15 over 8 times 10 over 3. like we did in the previous problem, we can divide 8 by 2 and 10 by 2. So I'm going to rewrite this as 15 over 4 times 5 over 3. Ooh, actually, we also have compatible numbers here. Divide that by 3, and you can divide that by 3. So the 15 divided by 3 equals 5. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So now I have easy numbers to work with, so it's going to be 25 over 4. And if I put that back into a mixed number, that's going to be 6 1/4. And I'll show my work right here. So 25 divided by 4. 4 goes into 25 6 times. Then we get remainder 1. So we have 6 as our whole number. Our numerator is going to be our remainder. And our denominator stays the same. So example 4, the Hoover Dam contains 4.5 cubic yards of concrete. The Grand Colleen Dam in Washington State contains 2 2/3 times as much concrete. How much concrete does it contain? Well, we do have a hint here that's going to tell us that we're multiplying. So we're just multiplying mixed numbers again. So we have 4.5. So 4 times 2 equals 8. Plus 1 equals 9. So that equals 9 over 2. And then we have 2 2/3. So 3 times 2 equals 6. Plus 2 equals 8. So that equals 8 over 3. So we have 9 halves multiplied by 8 over 3. And we do have compatible numbers. We can do 2 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2, 3 divided by 3, 9 divided by 3. So 9 divided by 3 equals 3. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So we get the final answer of 12 over 1, which equals 12. And just remember, we do use the butterfly method to know which ones are to work with. I just don't like drawing the butterfly. It's because the work gets pretty crowded and it gets a little bit hard to read. So we're going to try C. Mr. Wilkins is laying bricks to make a rectangular patio. The area he is covering with bricks is 15.5 feet by 9 3/4 feet. What is the area of the patio? So go ahead and try that out and pause the video. Alright, so we did get some big numbers. So over to the left, I have 15.5. I did 2 times 15 equals 30, plus 1 equals 31. So we have 31 over 2. And below that, we have 9 3/4. 4 times 9 equals 36, plus 3 equals 39. So we have 39 over 4. So going to the middle, we have 31 over 2 times 39 and a fourth. I did use a calculator to speed the process up, and I got 1,209 over 8. And all the way to the right, I showed my work on how I got 151 1/8. So 1,209 divided by 8. 8 goes into 12 once. 1 times 8 equals 8. So 12 minus 8 equals 4. Drop down to 0. 8 goes in there 5 times. Minus 40 equals 0. Drop down to 9. 8 goes in 9 once. 1 times 8 equals 8. 9 minus 8 equals 1. So I have 151, remainder 1. And my whole number is 151. My numerator is my remainder of 1. And my denominator stays the same, which is my divisor. So I have 151 1/8 feet squared. Because we're finding area, my feet have to be squared. Okay, so we're going to do example 5. It says, Mr. Conrad's pecan pie recipe calls for 1 3/4 of a cup of pecans. He plans to make 8 pies for his family reunion. How many cups of pecans will Mr. Conrad need? So if we have 1 3/4 times 8, so we have 4 times 1 equals 4, plus 3 equals 7. So it's going to be 7 over 4 times 8 over 1. 4 and 8 are compatible. So this will be 7 over 1 times 2 over 1. And we're going to need 14 cups of pecans. Very important that we have cups of pecans because that is required in our answer. But that is the end of the notes, so thank you for watching.